And the first one is... It is a terrifying, frightening Tyrannosaurus Rex. And this has been sent in by Sammy, who is in P1, also at Holy Cross. So hello, Sammy, and hello to his mum, Frida. And the second one that I have received, got a few more, but I'm going to save them until tomorrow, is, oh my goodness, look at this. This is One-Eyed Pete, the pirate pig. And of course you can see he's got his parrot on his shoulder right there. So I am going to be creating a story about these two, and I've not prepared. Oh. So we shall see what I come up with. I think Milo is watching with his mum Amy, so hello to the two of you. And yeah, here are the pictures again. And right, what story am I going to tell or create about these? So I shall start off with the pirate pig, Pete, One-Eyed Pete the pirate pig. Well, first of all, he wasn't always a pirate. Pete was just an ordinary pig, and he lived in his little house, and he had managed to survive all kinds of adventures. He had built a great big house made of bricks, and he managed to get rid of a terribly wicked wolf. But then he thought, you know, I'm ready for another adventure. And he'd read all kinds of books and heard all sorts of stories about pirates. And he thought, yes, that is what I want to do. That's what I'm going to go. And so he decided to leave his brick house and his brothers behind, and he waved them goodbye. And off he went, and he headed down to the beach. And when he was there, he found some beautiful clothes and he put them on. And he also found a little nest. And in that nest, there was a bird and there was an egg. And he took that egg and he took the bird and he said, right, now I think I'm ready to be a pirate. And he found himself a ship and off he sailed. And the little parrot hopped onto his shoulder and told all kinds of stories. In fact, you can comment and tell me what you think the parrot said. And the little egg that was in the nest, well, it grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And it stayed a little egg for a long time until one day, bah, it hatched. But it wasn't a bird at all. It wasn't a baby parrot. It was a baby Tyrannosaurus Rex. And Pirate Pig, he said, what? What on earth is that? And little tiny little T-Rex, he said, I don't know what I am actually. Maybe I'm a pig too. And Pirate Pig, he said, you are definitely not a pig, but you're welcome to stay on board. And so the Tyrannosaurus did stay on board, and they became very, very good friends, and Pirate Pete took care of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But Tyrannosaurus Rexes are very well known for eating what? Yeah, they like to eat meat and they like to chase their prey. And without even thinking about it one day, he chewed off Pirate Pete, the one-eyed pigs. He chewed off his leg and he was not happy at all. He said, right, T-Rex, and I hope there's no very, very young children watching. Right, T-Rex, this has got to stop. You're going to have to change your ways. You're going to have to become a vegetarian, or this is simply not going to work. And so the T-Rex, he had to change his ways. But he actually discovered that he quite liked eating all these kinds of vegetables. And he especially liked that he was able to stay on One-Eyed Pete the Pirate Pig's ship and sail across the seas. And because they were quite a frightening pair, my goodness, all the sailors, all the fishermen, all the other pirates were absolutely terrified of these two. They made a fantastic team because whenever they set and jumped on board another ship, well, the T-Rex, he went, wah, wah, and Pirate Pig, well, he just hopped around and he kicked them up the bum with his leg, or his hook, or his, what do they call that, a stick leg hook? No, the hook is the hand, but he doesn't have a hook. So yeah, they made a fantastic team. And do you know, I think that there are going to be legends about One-Eyed Pete the Pirate Pig and his dinosaur and the little parrot that lives on his shoulder for a long, long time. So there you go, a story off the cuff. Oh dear. And thank you very, very much, Sammy, and thank you very, very much, Samson, for sending these in. If you are watching, If you just get in touch with me and send me a picture that somebody has drawn, then I will definitely turn it into a little story the next time that I am on. And we've got some time, so it's all good. Now, the story that I am going to tell today is a story that I had lost for a long, long time. And I knew the seed of this story, but I didn't know where I found it or where I had seen it. Thank you very much, Isla. The word for the leg is stump. Yes, he would kick me on the bum with this stump right here. So yes, this story that I had lost, I have found it. And the reason that I'm excited about it is because it is the secret to happiness. And a lot of people sometimes forget how to be happy. And this story, I knew the very center of it, the essence of it, but I'd forgotten actually what the story was all about. And I found it yesterday. I was looking about online because I've got time to do that now, and I found the story, and it was actually, I read it in a book, one of my favorite books called The Alchemist, years and years ago. And The Alchemist, if you haven't read it, it's by a Brazilian author called Paulo Coelho, and it's a great book. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, it doesn't matter if you're 105 years old. If you haven't read it, you can always get, there's free copies online as well. And if you are interested, just get in touch and I can find the link and send it on to you. But yes, the secret of happiness, and this is my version. You see, there was once a girl, and she lived with her family, and they spent a lot of time together. And sometimes she just thought, I just don't feel very happy. Sometimes I feel quite miserable. I feel quite low, and I don't really know why. And I'm sure there must be a way that I can try to find a way to make myself happy. And so she asked her mum, Mum, what is the secret to happiness? And her mum, well, she had so many answers. She said, well, first of all, if you're proud of yourself, then you're going to be happy. And the girl thought, well, I don't know if I'm proud of myself. And so she decided to ask her dad, Dad, what is the secret to happiness? And her dad said, well, you have to get a great job, and that job is going to give you opportunities to travel and go here and do this and do that. That's the secret to happiness. And she thought, well, yes, but I might not get the best job in the world, but I still want to be happy. I know some people who are doing very ordinary jobs and they're still delighted. So I don't think that that is the secret to happiness. There must be something else. And so she decided to go for a walk. And she left her house and she meandered across the paths, across the ways. And every time she met somebody, she said, excuse me, can you tell me what the secret to happiness is? And people offered her all kinds of advice, but she was never really happy with what she heard. Until one day she met an old woman, and the woman was sitting underneath a tree. And the woman said, if you want the secret to happiness, you have to climb all the way over the mountain, down the other side, up the next mountain, and at the top of that mountain there is a castle. And the king of that castle is a very clever king. And if you ask him the secret of happiness, I'm sure he'll be able to help. The girl was delighted. She thanked the old woman and she raced up that mountain, down the other side. She started to climb higher and higher until she reached the top, and there was a castle. And as she approached, she heard music playing inside, and she saw that the castle was not just any old castle. It was beautiful, carved pillars, ornate statues sticking their heads out. Even the windows had all kinds of art all around, and she thought, this is a really beautiful place. So she knocked on the door of the castle, and the gates opened, and she was welcomed in, and she said, I'd like to meet the king. But she realized that there was a lot of people there to meet the king, hundreds of people, and she thought, I'm never going to be able to speak to him and ask him this question. But she was really, really determined, so she waited and waited, and she was the last person that the king saw. And the king, well, he was quite tired, and he said, tell me, little girl, what is your question? And she said, well, I'd really like to know the secret to happiness. And the king thought about this question because it was a very good question. And he said, okay, well, before I answer your question, I'm going to ask you to do something. I want you to take this spoon. And the girl took the spoon, and the king poured some drops of oil until the spoon was level with oil. And he said, I want you to just walk around my castle. And on the other side of the castle, you'll find the queen. I want you to take this spoonful of oil to the queen, but don't spill a single drop. And so the girl thought, I can do that. And the king said, yes, and when I meet you again, you can tell me what you think about this place. And so off the girl went. It took her ages. She walked for hours and hours, ever so careful, until finally she reached the other side of the castle, and there was the queen sitting on her throne, and she handed over the spoonful of oil. And when she met the king said, so did you do what I asked? And she said, yes, I gave the queen the spoonful of oil, and she is very, very happy. And the king said, and tell me, what do you think of the beautiful artworks around my castle? What do you think of the statues? What do you think of the bands that were playing? What do you think of the enormous rooms? And the girl said, well, I never saw anything. I was holding the spoon because I didn't want to drop the oil. And the king said, ah. He took the spoon and he poured some more oil into it. And he said, I want you to take this spoon to the queen. But this time, I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to look at everything and then come back and tell me what you think. So the girl went, and oh, through those rooms she admired the incredible furniture, these immense paintings and canvases, tapestries embroidered from the beautiful gold and silver threads. Everything was exquisite. There were bands playing in the courtyard, jesters, there were jugglers, clowns, dancers. Everything was wonderful. And so she enjoyed herself as she made her way through the castle, and she took hours because she was having so much fun. And when she reached the queen, she handed over the spoonful of oil. But there was no oil in the spoon. It had all poured and dropped along the way. And so when she went back to the king, well, the king asked her, what do you think of my castle now? And the girl said, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, but I'm afraid I failed because I wasn't able to give the queen the spoonful of oil. It had all spilt. And the king said, little girl, you came to me with a question. You wanted to know what the secret of happiness is. If you think of your life like this castle, it's full of wonder. It's full of magic and mystery and beauty and joy. And you have to make the most of that. Enjoy it every single minute. But you have to go through life holding a spoonful of oil. And these are your responsibilities. These are the things that you have to do. And you must be careful to do them all. So if you are able to hold that spoonful of oil and not spill a single drop, but you're also able to enjoy everything around you, then you will be a happy person. And that is the story of the secret of happiness. And I hope that you enjoyed that story. And I'm really glad to see Rowena is here all the way from South Africa. So thanks very much for dropping in. And hey, Helena is here with the kids. Say hello to everybody. Yes, this is the secret of happiness. If you know another way of being happy, then please do let me know, because I'm sure everybody here would be keen to hear it as well. And yes, drop me some messages. Let me know if there's any other stories or places that you want a story to come from, or if there's a story about something in particular, like maybe how to save the world, perhaps, or how to survive being trapped somewhere in a very small enclosed space. Yes, just let me know. But thank you very, very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you all again tomorrow evening. So good night, and yeah, take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.